Hey, this is Pastor Art, and today in our 30 days of prayer, we're in the book of Psalms, and we're going to be looking at Psalm 8, actually. And Psalm 8 is this great psalm that begins to kind of step back and kind of try to take in and wonder how great God is. And the psalmist begins to just speak about things in their lives, or even just kind of begins to even philosophically kind of step back and say, what is even humanity? Why are you even aware of us or care for us in this intimate and loving way? And so I'm going to read that psalm, and I want us to actually pray this together. It's Psalm 8, and I would encourage you actually to have that with you and read this after too. But as I went outside and kind of looked and pondered the stars, because it's night as I'm filming this, just really to look up, it's just amazing. It's that dark backdrop of the stars and the moon that shines. It's beautiful, and it is meant, the psalmist sees that as a way to exalt and speak of God's majesty. Let's listen to Psalm 8, and let's pray this together. It's teaching us how to pray. And so I would encourage you, if you have Psalm 8 with you, to pray this with you. This is how I do this, and oftentimes I'll read Psalms. Most days I read Psalms and I pray them. So let's pray this psalm together. Psalm 8, even as I'm aware of stepping outside just a moment ago in the dark and looking at the stars that are just bright and beautiful. Where I live, there's not a lot of light, so I'm able to look up and see all these beautiful stars. And let's read this together. And this is directly praying and singing to God. It says, Lord, O Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. You have set your glory in the heavens. Through the praise of children and infants, you have established a stronghold against your enemies to silence the foe and the avenger. When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, which you have set in place, what is humanity that you are mindful of them? Human beings that you even care for them. You made them a little lower than the angels, and yet crowned them with glory and honor. You made them rulers over the works of your hands. You put everything under their feet, all the flocks and herds, all the animals of the wild, the birds of the sky, the fish of the sea, and all that swim the paths of the sea. O Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. That psalm, that you can hear, it begins and ends with the same beginning. It's an inclusio. It's beginning and ending, and it kind of as bookends that. O Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. And then it kind of helps us step back and observe the earth that we're in and begin to name these things and how God is revealing their majesty right now. And so I stepped outside and saw the stars, and that resonated with me. Perhaps it's during the day right now and you're listening in the morning. Is there other things that from creation and from even just the care of humanity that it has, that you would be able to add to this psalm? I would encourage you to go back and read this psalm and pray this psalm. I often do that almost every day. Pray these psalms, and Psalm 8 is one of my favorites. And as I pray that, and I would encourage you to read these words, pray this prayer like we just did, and then listen for places where God might want to add and insert these new phrases or things where you are able to see God's majesty and just hugeness and greatness in the things of your life, whether it's moons or stars or animals or your ability to have agency in the world. We'll see you tomorrow, and I hope you can pray this today and just see and open up to God's majesty. O Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth.